Well, hello there. I decided since I don't have much progress to show you this week because not for nothing, it has been one frogging error after another. So this week I figured we'll do a quick little knit and chat um, and just talk it out. So, kind of sort of a knit with me, but I'll also just be talking to you just to kind of share a little bit of who I am, where I came from, what am I doing here, etc., etc. So, hopefully, you're here for that, and we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, welcome back. This is Beyond Swatches. I am Tiffany. I live in North Carolina. You see, I'm trying to attempt to do a real people's introduction, right? So, I live in North Carolina. I am married. We just made our 6 year anniversary 30 days after we bought our first home together. So, it's been pretty exciting. I have three children, previous relationships and such. My oldest is 28, my middle is 20, soon to be 21 in December, and my youngest is 18 and she's trying to make it to 19, but she tests my patience. So, yeah, let's go ahead and just get started with a quick update on why I have nothing to show you this week. So this week I finished the two test knit, well, the one test knit for the Cascade beanie, and I ended up making it twice because it was just that fast. And so I put that aside. I made the little pom pom. It was really cute. I'll probably put a picture in here so you can see it. But then I had this nurture bralette, and this nurture bralette and we're gonna fight. And because we're struggling so hard in the beginning, I'm just going to say, like relationships, if you struggle a little bit at first, you're going to easy sail your way as you get a little further in. So I'm just going to keep going. But essentially, what I did was I made my two straps, I did my increases, I made the long cord, and I don't know where I got this number from, but I knitted an I cord that was 72 rows long. And because this pattern is a little technical and I have modifications on one document, which means I have to come out of the document, go to the document. I don't know, I got turned around and somehow or another I ended up rereading it, and I was only supposed to make 42 rows. And in my frustration I was just like, and I just pulled the whole thing out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start over from two separate straps. I'll redo the increases. I'll work on the I cord. I'll actually mark it with stitch markers every 10 rows just to make sure that we're good. And I went to go and start it and I couldn't do it. So it's sitting in the bag on a serious timeout because I'm just not ready to deal with it right now. And then I have my blanket, which I finished all of the 5 by one, two, three. I finished the 4 by 5 section or whatever, 5 by 5 section, and so I went ahead and started adding the next row of squares. So that's where I'm at with this one now. And these colors though. There's no rhyme or reason for how I got them on here. I literally just pick up what I think. I am trying to not repeat in a row. And then since I see this gray and blue together, I'm going to try not to do that again because it does look almost the same, even though it's not. So yeah, so just literally picking a color out the bag, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and just going with it. So that's what's going on with the blanket, and I'm still loving it. It is a really nice pattern. I did have to consult the directions for the first square on the bottom row because I forgot. The majority of this is made with one type of square join, and I'm a pro at that one, but I kind of forgot how to do the other two, well, other three. So yeah, So that's how this progress is going. And it's looking really good, I gotta say. I got a few ends to weave in, which I try to do that while I'm at work. Um, and, while I'm on calls and these customers take forever to answer questions, I'll just work on my weaving in of ends. But what I figured we'll sit and knit and chat about is going to be my So Summer shirt by Jessie Made Designs. So, yeah, because this one is pretty mindless in a way. I just need to figure out where I am in the increase area. Okay, so I got a couple rows before I got to increase. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so figure we'll just kind of get into the how in the world did I end up in YouTube? By sheer, I think I'm bored with my decisions that I was making. So let's go back a little bit. So initially, when I started this Beyond Swatches name, um, my dream, let's just talk about my dream. My dream for myself was to open a yarn shop. I want my own yarn shop so badly. I can't even describe to you like how much I really want my yarn shop. And where that thought and idea came from was from many a visit to different yarn places throughout, my lifetime, whatever. Um, and it wasn't a very comfortable experience. It was really, I'm trying to see if I can show you what I'm knitting so you know that I'm working while we're talking. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's a little bit better. So I am working. So it wasn't a comfortable experience. I've heard this from other people of color rather, and it kind of takes you aback. You don't expect the look, and I can't describe to you what the look is. You would have to just experience it on your own. But I will just say it's a pretty common experience. You walk into a yarn shop, and it's always, not always, but for the most part, this industry of knitting is not a young black girl's area. I mean, I expect that you walk in and they're like, "Can I help you?" And I don't know. I don't want to get into all the details because again, it's a personal feeling and experience for which I had, but it made me realize that I want to make a space where people like me and you can go and shop without judgment, without feeling like I walk in this store and they're just watching me, And that's how it always felt to me. Like, do you even know what you're doing here? Are you just, I don't know. Anyway, maybe this wasn't a great topic to start on because I can't really explain it. It is really just a personal feeling and it was hurtful. But anyway, so it fueled in me a desire to want my own yarn shop for that reason, like I said, just to create a space where, I want a big long table, a literal community type space. I also want chairs in the back for those who, like myself, am not really here for the peopling of it all. I just want to sit and work on my project and listen to the conversations, admire the scenery of the pretty yarn in the cabinets, but I'm not really an extroverted person to where I want to sit and conversate and see what you're making. Sometimes, but not really. So I wanted a place to, have all of that going on. That was the dream. So fast forward through bad credit, and that was not going to ever happen, it seemed. I was like, well, maybe I can do an online yarn shop. And so that seemed fairly easy enough. So I walked my way down to the local, whatever tax building I had to go to. I have a knot. So now we got to sit here and figure the situation out. So I walked down to the business office. I got my business name registered. I paid my fees. I got my tax certificate so that I could purchase wholesale. And it was hard. Even online, it was hard because there were some who would say, oh, you have to place a minimum order of like $2,000. And I'm like, I don't have $2,000. I'm just trying to, jumpstart a vision here. But then I found a few companies that were willing to kind of work with you, and they just tell you, well, you got to put in this amount. If it's less than this, then you got to pay for shipping. If you do this amount, you get free shipping. So I started ordering product, and I ordered a lot of product every week with my paycheck, or every 2 weeks. I would place orders and drop the stitch. Hold on. Uh, all right, so we just picked it up. But I would place orders and get all this stuff. And what I was running into from a business perspective, I kept thinking, I'm just buying stuff that I like, which I guess is the goal, but you want to sell to people, right? So you got to get stuff that they like. So I ended up with stuff in here that I wasn't sure if people loved it, liked it, hated it. Um, it was hard to establish an online presence for sales because I didn't understand the business of marketing. And I didn't quite honestly have the patience to sit and do what the executives, or the, what do they call them, the masterclass content creator people, like they all recommend, oh, you have to be on a schedule, you have to post 6 times a week, twice a day, and oh yeah, they have a program where it can be done automatically. And I'm like, I just want to sell yarn. I just want to share the joy of yarn and knitting supplies. Like, I love a good set of needles. So that was my thing. Again, fast forwarding through the ups and downs of that, which I did have a few sales, so I'm very thankful. But then I just decided this is not going to work for me because it's too time consuming to post and share and sales and storage. Like, where was I storing all of this stuff? I had no space. Um, so I just let that side of things go. Then I decided, well, you have all this product, you can still wholesale and just make products for sale. So hats and scarf sets, mommy and me sets, home stuff like dish towels and pillow covers and wall hangings. I had the whole thing going. Again, marketing. It is so hard. And again, I'm the introverted person. I seem to my friends to be the outgoing one, but I am not that outgoing. I really just wanted to, I don't know, I think what I was craving was the community. And then one day, similar to how I came up with my business name, I had a dream. And in the dream, I was like, why don't you just create a YouTube channel? To which I said to myself in the dream, who's going to watch your YouTube channel? Like, what are you going to talk about? I still don't know half the time. Hence the reason why we're sitting here knitting and chatting, right? Um, and so I decided to just start one day. I talked to a friend of mine. Oh, I mentioned her in the previous video, Carla. I met her during one of my many make-along situations going on, which I did not finish on time, by the way. Um, Hold on, we got a little knot situation going on. Trying to fix it, but you know what it is? It's because the tail is so long because I overshot it, and it's kind of just in the way and getting caught. See, this is the tail. This is the tail. So I got too much tail going. But yeah, so I was talking with Carla, and she has this podcast that she does, and I was like, I've been playing around with the idea of starting a YouTube, and she's like, go for it. I'm like, girl, you didn't even listen to my fears on why I don't want to do it. And she's like, nope, you'll be great. Do it. And I love that. I love that she's a cheerleader like that, punch fear in the face and just do it anyway. And I'm like, I don't know. What am I going to talk about? It doesn't matter. Just do it anyway. So I did it anyway. And that's how I got here. Um, and now that I'm here, I really do enjoy it. I have to say, it's not as uncomfortable as I thought it would have been. But it's just hard. It's hard. Consistency for posting these videos weekly. I've said before many times, I don't want to post if I have nothing to share, but I also want to grow my channel, which means I need to post at least on a regular basis. I like the idea of making weekly videos. I just hate the idea that I have to steamroll through something or just make up a project in order to have something to show you. So today I just decided, nah, we're just gonna be real about it. And what's real is that I had to frog back some work, and that was very unfortunate, and it killed my spirit. I was sick. I was literally sick. 72 rows when you only needed 40. Oh, God. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I ended up here on YouTube. And even now, I will say I've met some really nice people commenting on videos and things and sending messages, finding me on Instagram, which you should follow me on Instagram because I post there a little bit more regularly than YouTube. I usually am posting snippets of projects that I'm on, the problems that I'm having, um, asking opinions because I get confused and lost on certain things and I need some help. So yeah, it's a little bit more active there and a little bit more personable. I feel like we can chit chat throughout the day on comments, posts, messages, etc. So find me there, beyond underscore swatches on Instagram. Um, and yeah, I remember when I told my best friend I was gonna do a YouTube channel, and she was like, "Yeah, you should go for it." I tell you, people are just so encouraging, but you don't know how difficult this feels when you get up here. But again, I really do enjoy it. I think I also enjoy it now because it's still very small. Um, and I know I don't have like a million people watching me, so that's okay. And I see the stats and stuff, and I'm trying not to get lost in the statistics because, when you start thinking about just the numbers, then it doesn't become fun anymore. And right now, I'm having fun. I really, really am. I do enjoy meeting people, talking to you, hearing your stories. How did you learn to knit? I love hearing that. And if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching this video, share it with me in the comments. Tell me, how did you start? When did you start? I personally started knitting in 2002 when I taught myself. Um, but I picked up my first crochet hook when I was much, much younger because my mom used to crochet. And I was so impressed by the fact that she would make things for people, hats and scarves. And at that time, it was just Red Heart. I think she said Lion Brand was the store there, but I don't remember seeing Lion Brand yarn in the house. Maybe the labels were different, but yeah, whatever. But I just thought it was so remarkable that you can literally take string, a hook, and make a baby an outfit. Or, oh, my cat is so cute. I got a new sofa, and it's in front of her window where she normally perches. And now I just happen to look over there, and she's perched on the top of the sofa because she's like, I don't know where else to go. So, but anyway, so yeah, that was the initial love of knitting. It came from watching, well, initial love of making came from watching my mom make stuff, and I was quite fascinated by it. Then I went on bed rest and I wanted to learn how to knit. So I bought one of those I Love Knitting kits, the ones that have I think it came with two sets of needles, like let's say an 8 and a 10 or a 6 and an 8. And then it had a booklet and it probably had like 5 patterns in there: a hat, a scarf, a pillow cover, maybe a washcloth. It's always a washcloth in a pattern book for beginners. And then it had like little notions and things. So you know what I'm talking about. And now they sell it. They're probably like $25. But I remember buying that for myself. I cannot for the life of me remember where did I get it from, because I grew up in the Bronx. I lived in the Bronx my adult life up until 2008. So there is no Walmart. And I'm trying to remember where I would have picked this up from. I didn't order it online. I don't remember if there was a yarn shop that I might have went to. The only thing that I can think of would be there was a store back then called Conway, but I don't know if I got it out of there because why would they sell? I don't know. I really don't know where this kit came from, but it changed my life. And I'm so happy that I stuck with it and learned how to knit, because as the fashion trends have changed and the accessibility has changed, I've found more joy in it. Now, I will say I've also had more bad yarn shopping experiences. Not bad yarn shopping, no. Not the experience of going to the store, but like buying yarn that you just don't really like, but it was on sale. It was cute. I never forget my cousin came down to visit me. Hold on. My cousin came down to visit me and I taught her how to crochet, which, mind you, I don't crochet that well, but I taught her how to crochet. And she went crazy when she went back home, and I think she went and got and it's the colors. Like, you love the colors. And Red Heart at the time had this neon and black, um I don't think it was stripes. I think it was just variegated, right? So it was like bright pink and black and blue. I mean, it was just full of color. And my cousin is, and probably always will be, a very eclectic type person. So she found all these colors, and she had this black yarn with these neon colors, and she had this white yarn with like pink and purple and green and blue, and it looks really nice, but when you work it up, it's like, whoa. So she was like, Timmy, I got all this stuff in here and I don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, well, I can't help you because I told you not to buy that stuff. I don't like self-striping yarn. I don't know. I like speckled yarn. Like, this is cool with me. This is speckled. Don't ask me where I got it from because I don't remember. Well, I don't remember right now. I might have already said it in one of these videos before, but I just don't remember at the moment. So, but it's like it got speckles of blue in there, and I can rock with this. I can't rock with self striping. I have a little bit of control issues. I don't want you making my stripes. I'll make them myself. But anyway, so yeah, the accessibility of yarn right now is so much better. And I just would go into these stores when I moved down here, especially. I moved down here and went into Walmart. God, they had yarn in the whole aisle. And it was like, I want all of them. So I just was buying yarn because it was pretty. And I wasn't really into making projects like garments. I was more or less like, oh, I'm going to make a scarf or I'm going to make a shawl. But I would only buy one skein or one ball, and then you realize that's not enough, so you try to modify it. I wasn't even reading like the label to know what size needle I needed. I would just pick up the yarn, I'd have some needles, and I'd cast on and just start knitting a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, and then I would end up taking it out and throwing it away. And that's how I said initially how I ended up with this beyond swatches situation, because essentially all I did was cast on, make the equivalent of a swatch, and then end up throwing the yarn away because I hated the color. I didn't like the pattern it made or whatever. So, oh, how far we have come. So I figured we could just do a quick little, let me spit out some random facts about me as a knitter and a person so that you can get to know who I am behind the scenes, if you will. Nothing too deep. You ain't getting that much info. But one thing about me as far as knitting goes, I love bright colors to knit. Ironically, though, I am not a person who wears a lot of bright colors, but I wear what I make, and it gives me so much joy to knit with bright pink. I don't know where this obsession came from, because my favorite color back in the day used to be navy. How did I end up pink, girl? I don't know. Was it the yarn? Quite possibly. But that's my favorite color to knit with, is anything bright, electric, neon. I love it. I just love it. Um, I prefer metal needles over wood, except for when you're working with extra slippery yarn, then I probably would prefer wood. But I also have a set of needles by Knitter's Pride, and they are like symphony wood needles, so they're kind of colored, but they have a slickness to them, so not as slippery as a metal, but not as much drag as a bamboo. So that's my alternate for when I'm working with slippery stuff. I much rather knit in the round if I'm going to make a sweater. I don't like seaming. However, I like the idea of seamed projects because you don't have to take a giant thing with you if you're going to take it on the go. So I have never successfully made two socks. I've only made, and here's the interesting thing, I made a pair of slippers for my best friend's mom, which is like my mom too. And I made those pair, and it still took me 2 months to do it because I just don't like making socks. But I want to say those were knit flat and you seamed them, so that might have been why I was able to get away with making it, because it was more like just knit a rectangle. What else? I don't like the super bulky sweater trend. I think it's very odd to have clothes that thick on your body. Could be a bias thing because I already have a lot of body, so I don't need nothing that big hanging on me. What else? Knitting trends. I don't like. Now, here's probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a real big fan of the brioche look. Like when I see it with two colors. You know, I like that braided part of it, but I don't like when I see like a different color in between the brioche stitch. I don't know. I just think it looks weird. This is the first blanket that I am successfully knitting. I never thought I would knit a blanket. I've tried many, many times. For example, when I had my shop open, I had the idea that I would knit those real big chunky blankets. You know what I'm talking about with that thick blanket yarn. And I said, oh, I can make these blankets and sell those. I started one and I still never finished. As a matter of fact, it's sitting up there in that bin. You probably can't see it from here, but it's a white bulky yarn. I'm not gonna finish it. Then I said, well, maybe you could just do baby size blankets. I don't like making baby clothes. I'll tell you. When I say this stuff out loud, I don't know how people are friends with me because I'm really picky. And fun fact, I only have two best friends. Now, I have one best friend. We've been friends forever and a day. Hey, girl, hey. Um, since I was like, I don't know, I might have been 15 and she was 10. That's my best friend. We've been friends forever. And then I have a newer best friend who I met probably about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 7, 6, 5, whatever, recently. But we meshed like instantly. So she's my other best friend. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have any siblings. I have one cousin. Uh, and I have 3 children. Me and my husband both are actually only children. So it's a miracle that both of us have more than one kid. But it's also comical, I think, because we rely on each other for support because we don't understand how to raise these kids in the house together. I mean, I've been raising them and they seem like they turning out all right, but I still don't understand them. They just do things sometimes that I don't know. But I hear it's just a sibling thing. You know, they can't stand each other. They almost want to deny each other's existence, but when the other one is hurting or get into trouble, they want to hug each other and help. It's like, y'all are so weird. Like I said, I didn't have anything really to show because I had to frog everything. I think I did mention in the last video about that first sweater by Hive Knits. I went and cast it on with the Happy Place yarn like I said that I would. And I don't like it. Not that I don't like the yarn, not that I don't like the pattern. I just don't like it in that sweater. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know if maybe mentally I'm just like, I think I'm coming to a place where I'm about to go into a little funk again, you know? Because there was a point in time a few months ago where I just could not knit. I didn't feel like it. And I hate when I get into those moods because the desire to do so is so strong. But when I sit down to actually start knitting, I just can't do it. And I don't like that space because I feel really conflicted, you know. But let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got one more row to go, and then I can increase. Um, yeah, I don't like that weird space that I feel like I'm heading towards, but I also have a lot of other stuff that I'm kind of dealing with. And yeah, not that knitting isn't important, but I guess the speed at which I normally would knit on each project is just not important to me right now. Um, like this bralette, I really, really wanted it, but when I got defeated by the I cord, I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. So I put it in a bag. And I am excited for this though, because as I work a little bit longer and kind of picture it as a shirt, I like the way it feels. I think it'll be really nice. I think it's going to actually be too big. And that's something that I'm still learning as I'm making garments and following patterns is two things. I've always said, oh, you're just the largest size. But the fact of the matter is, no, I'm not, especially with knitting. Um, my bust, not like my regular bust, is about a 48. But in these patterns, I don't know what it is. This is why me and gauge just doesn't seem to work because I'll get gauge and it still doesn't fit, and that irritates me. So I just kind of rely on the post of other people. Like when I find a pattern on Ravelry and they have these testers and they kind of say, well, I knit a size bigger because this happened or that happened. I just do a little researching in that sense. But I don't know. I've had in the past more things not fit or be too big because it says they built in ease and I make the pattern according to what the ease is supposed to be, but I don't know. That I'm telling you, me and Gage, we don't get along. so so we're just going, I don't know. Again, I gauge when it's time to test. This was a very chill Saturday. I got my furniture delivered. They were late, of course, but it was raining this morning, so I expected them to be late. Um, I'm about to make some turkey burgers for dinner and some like smashed potatoes. I saw this recipe where you basically take like your potato rounds and you bake them, roast them, sprinkle them with salt and pepper or Parmesan cheese. I think you put the Parmesan cheese, dip it in there, and put it down. And then you roast them face down with the cheese, and then you smash it so that it kind of spreads a little bit. Something to that effect. I got to find the recipe. It was on Instagram. And now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't think it was a potato. I think it was a cauliflower, and they cut it into steaks, which I don't have no cauliflower, so we're gonna just do potatoes. It's just the same way I said, and maybe we just won't smash it. So yeah, that's what my Saturday is looking like. Very chill. Um, I think we might turn the fire pit on tonight because why not? You know, it's a little breezy, got a little chill in the air. So that would be a nice way to kind of end the evening. Oh, there's a partial eclipse today, so I've heard. I think it starts around 11 o'clock. So I don't know if you where you are, but if you have seen it, can you tag me in some photos or something so I can see what you saw? Because the chances of me actually staying up to watch this is pretty slim. We are definitely early rising folks around here. Me and my husband, we'll be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, just chit chatting like it's a Tuesday afternoon. And then at 7:30, I'm like, all right, y'all, time to go to bed. I don't know. I'll be up too early. Um, but yeah. So yeah, that's about the long and short of it. I hope you was able to get a couple of rows done while we sat here and talked about nothing. But I hate the idea of just talking. So share with me who you are, where where did your knitting journey start or your love of knitting start? What was your first project? I think that's always a fun one. What was your first project? And did you finish it? Do you still have it? Was it an abomination? It was not an abomination. It was a learning experience. So, but I would love to see not see it. If you have it, that'd be great. But I would love to hear what your first project was. Because I think my first knitting project was a scarf for sure. But my first project was a baby outfit for my oldest daughter. I was still pregnant at the time. And I think I told you guys this before. I made this thing, I found a pattern. It was one of those, they need to bring this back. Time Life. Do y'all remember Time Life? With those cards, and they would send recipes and it would come like in a stack. So they also had, I don't know if it was Time Life, but they had something similar and it was a bunch of patterns. And my mom had this box full of patterns, and that's where I would get these ideas from. So I took one of the patterns and I said, I'm going to make my baby a sweater. And I think it came with booties or a bonnet or something like that. I made the sweater, I followed the directions, and I showed it to her father. And I was like, look, I made the baby a jacket. And he was like, what do you expect her to come out with arms like Popeye? Why is the arm so big? I was so devastated. I started crying instantly. And he was like, don't cry. He was like, but can't you fix it? Like, I don't think her arms are going to be. Well, did I know I was having a girl with Kiera? I don't think I knew. Hmm. Did I know? I don't think so because I don't remember. Anyway, why? I don't think the baby's arms is going to be that big. And I was like, why would you say that to me? You know I'm pregnant, I'm sensitive. He was like, well, I'm not going to lie to you, but these arms. And then what was so funny about it, the arms was like this short, but they was like that wide. It was so funny. It was my first project. I felt pretty proud, and then he devastated my hopes and dreams. So, boo. That's why we're not together right now. Because he's a jerk. But he's still cool people. Mm, we can't deal. Anyway. If my husband was standing here right now, he said, "You over there reminiscing? I'm gonna knock you out." Because he always, he say I get the smiling, and as I look at myself now, I probably do. But I laugh because this past of mine, boy, I tell you, there's some stories, and it's amazing the things that I remember now as an adult. You know, it's just amazing. So I just laugh. I chuckle not so much at the memory, but I just chuckle at, wow, how far have I really come? Like, it's amazing I'm still living right now, you know? It's so amazing. Oh boy. But yeah, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this. It was nice to sit down and just babble on about nothing. Now you kind of get to see how my brain works and why I'm so scatterbrained sometimes. I really do think and talk just like this, like from one topic to the next. No rhyme or reason. Have a great day, and hopefully when I come back here next weekend, I'll have something at least of substance to show. I want to at least have this hive knit sweater casted on in a yarn that I love, or like, yeah, love, so that I can get a sweater going for the fall. I feel like it's already October. We're heading into winter soon. So I want to get a sweater going for the fall. And if it doesn't work, I have my fail safe. My fail safe is always going to be by Knititude, and it's my beginner stockinette beginner raglan light. I don't know, something to that effect. And it's just a basic raglan pattern, no short rows, no nothing. It's just basic raglan worsted weight pattern, and that's my fail safe. So if I can't get this gauge right, not gauge, if I can't get this fabric right and this needles and the way it feels, then I'm gonna go with that. And quite honestly, I might just go with it anyway, because I just want a sweater, a new sweater for the new season. And then I would like your help if you don't mind. Um, I am trying to decide what dress do I want to make for next winter. I made a dress for myself last year. Well, I made it last year for this year. I needed it for January. And I would like to make a dress at the end of this year for next year for February, January, February. And I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I want to do. I think I want to do the Made You Look or Made You Love dress. It's like a nice worsted weight by Ocean Knits. Then Knititude has a couple of other dresses, but I don't want to do a bulky yarn because that was a little too hot and heavy for me. Um, and I also am kind of shying away from the fingering weight situation because I want to hurry up and finish. But I would like to see your recommendations. If you've made any dresses, if you know any good designers, maybe not even well known ones. I would like to kind of support new people, you know? So if you find some good designers that I can follow, support, purchase a pattern, send them my way. Put it in the comments, or like I said, find me on Instagram and just chat me up and let me know because I need some help. I got to get rid of some of this yarn and I want to use it in a project that's going to, make me feel good. So, but that'll do it. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, 40 minutes. Yeah, well, when you always say you have nothing to talk about, you find stuff to talk about. That's just the way I am. But I hope you have a great weekend and I'll see you next time. Bye.